That awkward moment when you're starting Sean Green. What's up, everybody? It is the TWIF series, where I break down my fantasy football league's matchups for the week. Today, we're looking at our first set of games in week one. So, you're kind of probably wondering if you have never followed the TWIF series, which, I mean, it's a cult thing, like the movie Cedar Rapids. There's a reference for you. A few people watch it, and the people that do watch it love it, but it's not very well known. Hopefully, it does become more well known, but I'm going to stop talking about nothing because yeah, there I go, talking about nothing. Anyway, I'm going to break down this week's matchups, and don't worry, you're not going to get a video every day, although some of you would like that, I imagine. The only reason I'm doing 2 videos so close is because I was out of town when I drafted. I had to review the draft and do the weekly matchups that I do every week, predicting the winners and losers. And the NFL decides to put a game on a Wednesday, which I can't imagine anyone with any sort of intelligence would make that decision. But now that I jumped to the right week, we're going to start analyzing the games. So, the first one we're going to go ahead and knock out is me versus the Night Owl, Lily Beth, first-time fantasy football player. And in this matchup, her team is going to show her inexperience because, well, we have Matt Ryan going up against Cam Newton. Cam Newton and Matt Ryan both have fairly good matchups on their hands. I will give the advantage to Cam Newton though, because running touchdowns are money. Then this is where Lily's team really starts to show that it's kind of weak. Sean Green. Have you heard of him? He's awful, especially when compared to Michael Turner, who's a stud. Then you want to talk about Doug Martin, who's a good number 2, but not a good number 1. And Matt Forte is a good number 1, so advantage Forte there. Then I'm starting Robert Meacham. She's starting Hakeem Nicks. I'm going to give the advantage to her in that one because the Cowboys D, any Cowboy fan will tell you. And by D, I mean secondary. The Cowboys secondary is awful. And then I'm starting Jeremy Maclin, and she's starting Fitz. Obviously, the advantage goes to Fitz. Then Antonio Gates and Selleck. I think Antonio Gates is going to return to his form of a few years ago. Let me take a sip of my soda here so I don't voice crack. Excuse me. So Gates over Selleck, and then obviously MJD will outperform Brandon Marshall. And Nate Kading will probably not do as well as Garrett Hartley because Garrett Hartley is playing the Washington Redskins. And then the Steelers' defense will outperform the Packers' defense because Peyton Manning, first start in 18 months, probably going to turn the ball over a few times. Definitely going to give the advantage to me in this matchup, not just because it's me, but because Lily has some running back problems she's probably not going to be able to overcome. This is a good matchup right here. Not quite my pick of the week, but it's a good one. It's Weston versus the artist formerly known as Seagouch. Oh, I'm not even on the right thing. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me figure this out. Crap. Oh, I know what's wrong. Okay, NFL screws me over. Watch this. If I go to week 2, I can click on Analyze Matchup, and I can get y'all pictures. But for some reason, when I go to week 1, the option's not there, even though no games have actually started. So I'm sorry, guys. That's a one-time thing that you'll have to deal with. Bet that's NFL's fault, not mine. Anywho, Eli Manning and Drew Brees, both very good, although Brees is going up against a weak defense. So is Manning, but Brees is better. Advantage Brees. Marshawn Lynch and Jamal Charles. Lynch would have a chance, but I still think he's going to get suspended for his DUI. I'm just waiting for Goodell to drop the hammer. So I'm going to give the advantage to Charles. Although, the thing about Charles is he's eventually going to get hurt, and it might be early in the game. So Charles always runs that risk. of putting up like a 3 spot. S-Jack's better than Rob Hellu, obviously. Um, every time I review Weston's game, the wide receivers is going to be kind of like a joke because Megatron is always going to be better than the person he's going up against. And that was a total misstatement because Megatron is actually Weston's only real good receiver. So Greg Jennings is better than Antonio Brown. Vernon Davis is better than Jimmy Graham. But this is where Weston starts to pull ahead. He has the law firm, and Seagouch has Deshaun Jackson. Law firm all the way. And my Rob Baronis, not as good as Dan Bailey, because Baronis is playing the Pats this week. It's just not a favorable matchup. And the Niners D versus the Texans D. Normally it would go to the Niners, but the Texans are playing, hey-o, the Miami Dolphins. And I don't even need to talk about that. So I'm going to give the advantage to Weston in that game because of his running back core, among other things. We have the Cure Sucks and Clap for Bacon for a third game to review. The commish is electing to start Tony Romo, and I'm not sure if I agree with this decision because Michael Vick is playing the Cleveland Browns. He might swap him out last second, but as of this TWIF, he's starting Tony Romo, and I think that's a bad decision on his part. And for that reason, among the obvious reasons, I'm giving the advantage to Aaron Rodgers in this matchup. D'Angelo Williams is terrible. Chris Johnson is not. Advantage Chris Johnson. Frank Gore is bad, but not as bad as Dirty Beanie Wells. Advantage Frank Gore. Julio Jones and Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne might sound better, but it's not 2007. Advantage Julio Jones. AJ Green and Victor Cruz, both very good receivers. I'm giving the edge to Victor Cruz because the Cowboys secondary is a joke. I don't know if you know this, but it is. As far as tight ends go, Owen Daniels looks to tear it up against a weak Miami Dolphins secondary, where Aaron Hernandez splits time with Gronkowski, so definitely giving the advantage to Owen Daniels there. And like I said in the draft review video, the commission is probably going to deal a quarterback and a tight end to get some other talent at his weaker positions, like running back 2. After he deals some of his talent, the commish will have a top 6 team for sure. So it's just a matter of time and how good a value he gets. Anyway, and then flex, Malcolm Floyd gets the advantage over Kenny Britt, who is suspended. Knowing the Cure sucks, he will never swap out Kenny Britt. He'll just let him sit there and not play. Janikowski versus Goskowski. I thought they were clones for a second. But Goskowski will get my vote of honor. The guy on the right, for those of you wondering. And then the Lions defense will of course get the edge because they are playing the Rams. Edge there goes to Clap for Bacon, if for none other reason than he's a better manager. This week we have Disco Hobbits versus Fabiano's Brilliance. Get a look at how great this picture is. Michael Fabiano with Joke. It doesn't get much better than that. RG3 versus Stafford. It's not close. Stafford comes out ahead. McGahee versus Peterson. It's not close. Peterson comes out ahead, especially because he's playing Jacksonville. Darren Sproles, the little lightning bug, he splits time, but he also gets touchdowns. But Arian Foster versus Miami. Wouldn't be surprised if Foster scores 30. Advantage Foster. Roddy White versus Marcus Colston. Colston's going up against a weak secondary, but so is White. I think Julio Jones is going to catch a ton of balls this year, which is going to kind of phase Roddy White out. So advantage Colston. Vincent Jackson versus Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson going to play very well against a weak Miami secondary. Hold on, drink time. And he will outperform Vincent Jackson. Gronk is going to outperform Fred Davis, even though Fred Davis, great pickup by Disco. And Miles Austin will do better than Torrey Smith. I'm calling it now. Torrey Smith will have his good games, but Cincinnati's defense is better than you think. And Hansen will obviously get about 100 points over the Rams, so advantage Hansen. And about the flex matchup, I don't think I ever mentioned advantage Austin because Smith is going up against a harder defense. And then the Seahawks are playing the Cardinals. I was questioning the Seahawks is Spencer's defense, but then I remembered they're in a terrible division and it's actually a very good pickup. So people are scared of Disco Hobbits because what he did last year, but Spencer's gonna blow him out of the water. It won't even be close. Advantage Spencer in that game. And we have our game of the week. No fried rice for you versus choking on a hogo. And yes, I know I mispronounced his name. It's going to happen every week. The artist formerly known as Bing Bong will be taking on No Fried Rice for You. With the quarterbacks, Philip Rivers versus Tom Brady. Brady, much better than Phil Rivers. The matchups are about even as far as defense goes, and Brady is better, so advantage Brady. Devin Brown and Ray Rice. Cameron's going to depend on Ray Rice for big talent every week. He's going to give it to him this week. Advantage Ray Rice. Reggie Bush will do better than he did last year, but I think until Fred Jackson gets hurt, Jackson's going to overcome there. Even though CJ Spiller getting more work, it's going to be closer than you think, but I don't think Miami is going to do very well against the Texans this week. Jordy Nelson, better than Denarius Thomas. Way better than Denarius Thomas. Although he's playing a good defense, something you have to keep in mind. Wes Welker against Percy Harvin. Harvin's playing Jacksonville, and Welker is playing Tennessee. I think Welker is better on a week-to-week basis, but for this week I'm giving the edge to Harvin. Dustin Keller and Jermichael Finley. Keller is better than Finley every day of the week, no matter who he's playing. Or did I just say that backwards? I meant Finley is better than Keller. Sorry. And then Stevie Johnson and Stephen Ridley. Running back gets the edge over receiver almost 100% of the time. Cameron's running back core might not be great, but there's three of them, which, you know, big things happen whenever they come in threes or whatever the expression is. Something about British monks. Barracudas. I don't know. Crosby will outperform Henry because Henry's not that good, even though he's playing Cleveland. The Bears defense will crush Indianapolis and the rookie quarterback at home. And the edge, unfortunately, is going to have to go to No Fried Rice. Sorry, Cameron, I couldn't give it to you, but Tom Brady and his receiving core are just too good. And it's going to be close, though. That's the game to watch for sure. Then, for our last matchup, we have the Fantasy Genius versus Rampy, the record-breaking suck. And it just shows you how much of a joke that the predictions are. Because, yes, Peyton Manning will outperform Andrew Luck. And, yes, Shady McCoy will probably do better than McFadden, but not by much. But after that, you have a hurt Murray, even though he's probable. If there's any injury listed, you might as well knock a few points off of his total. Trent Richardson, gonna run all over Philly. I think Trent Richardson, obviously the Browns are gonna run him a whole lot, and that's gonna help him. So he is going to outperform Murray. And then the shit kind of hits the fan for Aaron because he's going up against Steve Smith, Dwayne Bowe, Tony Gonzalez, and Amon Bradshaw. And Aaron has Decker, Lloyd, Pettigrew, and Jennings. R. Jennings for Jacksonville. This is where Ben is going to outscore Aaron by about 40 points as far as those four players versus those four players go. As long as Ben doesn't get too far behind in the starting four with against Aaron's McCoy and Manning and Murray, he'll be fine. Aaron does have the special team and kicker advantage, Akers and the Ravens. But, I mean, Ben's is respectable. He has Nate Folk and the Jets. But as far as the Jets go, I don't know why Ben went double Jets special teams because the Jets are so hit or miss with the quarterback situation. I wouldn't want anything to do with their kicker. It doesn't really matter, though. Akers is going to outscore anyone he plays because he's all powerful. I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to Ben there because his his receivers are just too good compared to Aaron's. And we will have the little magical pictures back for next week. And if I stammered too much, I'm sorry, guys. It'll get better, I promise. I'm kind of a in a little airhead mood right now, but this is what you have to look forward to next week, the beautiful pictures. Make sure to leave a comment on the video, and I'll see you guys next time.